Let's start some February seeds. So we're going to need our seed container, a little shovel to get the soil out, and a spoon to put soil in the trays, a bowl to put the dirt in. This is what we're using, and these are our trays. Now these have a tray on the bottom that does not have any holes in it, so we can bottom water, and all these little holes on the bottom that make it easy to pop out. I got it from my local farm store. And we need more seeds, all the seeds. And the most important is this notebook, and I will explain a little bit more about it. So, first thing I did in this notebook was I went through and I wrote down everything that I was planning on planting this year, and then listed it there, and then I wrote down when to start them and how to start them. And then I made up a format page that you can pause if you need to. Has a lot of good information on it, and just notes and how to plant and what it is, what brand it is, stuff like that. So I'll show you an example. These are some peppers that I'm planting today, and there you go. So the next thing I did is I made a list of what I was planting just today. Here, almost late February. I'm a little late. And I wrote down what I'm planting, the depth I'm planting it at, how many I need, like in the garden, I'm square foot gardening, so therefore how many cells I would need to plant. Okay, straight into seed starting. We have our bowl, and we're going to go ahead and start filling it up with soil, or our seed starter mix. And we're going to add a little bit of water to it, just so it's not completely dry when we put it in our cells. Sometimes it's hard to fully moisten the soil once it's already in the cells. So I'm adding just enough where it's not soaking wet. I mean, it drips a little bit, kind of clumps together a little bit. I think that's a good ratio. You don't want it just a mud puddle, like just water standing everywhere. Just moist enough so the seeds have good germination. And we're also going to need some plastic forks, and I'll talk more about that later. And a Sharpie and some tape. So, first off, we're going to just start filling up our cells here. I started using this big spoon, switched to a smaller spoon, and by the end of it, I was just throwing it on there with my hands and like rubbing it in and flattening it out. Clean up the mess later. It takes forever to fill up these cells. So the first thing I'm planting is these jalapeno peppers. So I'm going to get my seeds, and I'm going to get 2 seeds for each cell. That's just in case one doesn't germinate. And these say to plant, I believe, like 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. So I just stick my chopstick in there, make a little hole, drop my seeds in, and cover it up. Easy peasy. Then when I have my 2 cells planted, I take the plastic fork, cut the little tong pieces off so we have this flat area, because I couldn't find any popsicles and didn't want to pay for plant labels. So the Dollar Tree has plastic forks for $1, and they work great, honestly. So I label what I just planted, and then I'm going to cover it with a piece of tape so that the writing doesn't get wet when you're in there watering it. It stays, it's legible, it's nice and clear. And I'm just going to fit that tape on and stick it right in our cell. Look at that. Tell me it's not a perfect little plant label. So now we're going to continue on with some more peppers. These are cayennes. Going to do the same thing. I'm going to dig our little holes out. Put about 2 seeds in each cell. And cover them up with the soil a little bit. And stick our label in. And I just continue on. Here we go with some banana peppers. And I'm showing you this packaging because I like it a lot better than the regular seed packaging. One, it's easier to open and easier to get into. You're not struggling trying to get the seeds. So when you're done, you can pour them back in like that, and then you can just tape that little edge, and the next time you use it, you just cut the tape. You don't have to cut the whole seed packet. And this is Morticia. She was being a bad kitty and got up on the counter, but she's one of my cute little babies. So, 2 hours later, here we go with all the seeds we planted. There's a whole lot of them, and I did some experiments. I had some room left in the last row, so I planted some seeds from my spice cabinet just to see what happened. Now I'm covering it with cinnamon. I don't know if this is scientifically proven or not, but I've seen a lot of gardeners do this. It's supposed to help control the mold and fungus that grows on top when you're seed starting. So we're going to try that out this year and see if it works. And we're just going to water everything in really well. And this is cleaning the cinnamon off the trays too, which is nice. Instead of watering, then sprinkling the cinnamon. Just making sure I get everything really nice and watered in so those seeds have plenty of moisture to germinate. Okay, here's our final product. This is my experiment row here. I think I planted like poppy seed, mustard seed, black pepper, threw a clove in there. I don't know. We're just having fun, seeing what happens. Now we're going to clean up our counter here. Get all the stuff out of the way. Wipe it off. And now for the next section of our seed starting day, we are bringing out the plastic baggies. Why? Is because we are going to cold stratify some seeds. So some seeds need to go through like a winter season to be able to germinate in the spring. So you can kind of fake that by putting them in your refrigerator for a couple weeks. So we're going to start with milkweed. This is some milkweed that I harvested locally here. The seed pods are just prolific once the plant dives back. There's like hundreds of seeds in those seed pods. So we're going to wet down our paper towel, just dampen it. It's not soaking wet. My seeds are sticking together because there's still some of the silks from the milkweed pod in there. So we're going to try to spread them out as evenly as we can. Try not to overlap as many. I have no idea how many I planted here, but that's fine. Okay. Still sprinkling on some more seeds. Now we're going to fold the paper towel over, press it in, and we're going to mist it again. Like I said, this is not soaking wet, okay? This is just kind of damp, nice and damp, thoroughly damp, but not dripping wet. And here I struggled to get it in the bag because I was tired and my brain was not working. This big rectangle is not going to fit in that little rectangle. Or square, sorry. So fold it in half and then it'll fit. And I just slide that on down in there. Make sure it's good and flat. Nothing like rolled up. Flatten everything out. Get all the air out and zip it up. Now we're going to toss that in the fridge. Continued with the rest of them. And now, hello, I am tired. Now the final step is to clean up all of this. I have to go and close all those seed packets and move them to new ones and write down everything in my notebook. But yeah, so thank you. Come back.